Hey, what's up, guys? Here on the Fire Sports Pod, where everything we got is hot. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. Welcome to Recap Monday on Season 6, Episode number 7 on the Fire Sports Pod. We are powered by StreamYard, where StreamYard makes the dream yard go. I'm your host, Zach Jackson. This is my co-host, Irv. We're back at it again. We were supposed to have our Professor Elliot Collab on to join us for a show. He couldn't join us today. We're keeping the window open just in case. But for right now, we got to rock with the show with just the two of us. The main two men that do this podcast. So let's get right into it. Irv, we got 3 segments for them today. Some pretty good ones. NFL picture coming up, the playoff picture, all the births that have happened over the weekend. Maybe we'll
Yeah.
go over some injuries that can significantly impact some teams that are trying to make a deep playoff run. Our second segment will be going over some of the teams that have been eliminated, and if they and we will go over what they need to do to really revive their team, to rebuild, to get back to where they want to be ultimately, which is in the playoffs and for a Super Bowl. And then our third, we got to go over the NBA Cup. The championship is tomorrow. Our picks did pretty well, other than 1 or 2 games that we couldn't pick the right guys. Other than that, most of our picks went pretty well, and we'll be going over that championship in depth. And that will be pretty much it. So let's start off with the first segment. And Irv's got you guys with this. What are we looking at with some playoff berths? What are the seedings looking at? And yeah.
All right. So far for the NFL playoff picture, we kind of have some, probably the obvious teams that are advancing. So far for the AFC, we have the Kansas City Chiefs with a record of 13-1, who are first in their division. You have the Buffalo Bills, who are 11-3, and they're first in the Eastern Division of the AFC. You got the Steelers, who came out 10-4, number one in the North, and then you have the Texans 9-5, who are number one in the South. And then for the NFC, you have the Lions, who are 2-12, who are
2
playing
and
really
12.
good, by the way. Yeah, they're 2-12.
12
So
and 2.
sorry, yeah, 12-2.
Oh,
They're first in the NFC North. Then you got the Eagles 12-2, first in the East, and then you have the Vikings 11-2, first in the North. So that's what we're looking at so far. But for teams that are in the hunt, you have teams such as the Ravens, who have a 99% chance of advancing into the playoffs. You have the Denver Broncos. You also have the Chargers. You have the Buccaneers, who are first in the NFC South. And then you have the Rams, who are first in the NFC West. Then you have the Packers, and then you also have the Commanders, the underdogs, only second in the NFC East. And teams that are in the bubble right now that they're probably hoping for whoever's on the hunt for that playoff contention, they can lose for the next couple of games that are coming up as we're approaching the final. So far teams are in the bubble. We have the Colts, who are sitting second in the AFC South, but the record is 6-8. You have the Dolphins as well, who are sitting second in the AFC East, 6-8. You have the Bengals, who are 6-8, sitting third in the NFC North. You have the Seahawks, who are second in the NFC West, who are, they're probably the highest probability out of all these teams, with a 34% chance of advancing. You have the Cardinals, who are 7-7. You have the Falcons, who are they're another big time team if they win. Now, if they win, they have a 35% chance of advancing. But if they lose, they're not really advancing. Their chances are really, really slim. I mean, you have teams that, still hopeful, but more likely may not advance is the 49ers, Cowboys, and Saints. Now, now we got teams that are eliminated. The teams that are eliminated that are out of playoff contention, who haven't won past 4 games. You have the Jets, who were officially out. You have the Browns, Jaguars, Titans, Patriots, Raiders, Bears, Panthers, and Giants as well. So that's what the NFL 2024 playoffs is looking like right now. I really like the Ravens' chance of advancing to the playoffs. Broncos as well, but I feel like the Buccaneers my team right here, they're definitely going to advance. I mean, they're first in their division. I honestly think that as long they're playing the way that they're playing, especially after beating the bricks out of the Chargers, I really think that they're going to advance and they're going to get a nice spot. As you can see here, we have them going up against Green Bay so far. That's what the picture looks like. And then you also have Washington with Philadelphia, Detroit with a bye week. You got Minnesota with the Rams, and then you have the Ravens with Houston, Chiefs in a bye week, Denver at Pittsburgh, and then you have Chargers at Buffalo. So Zach, like so far, looking at this playoff picture, what are you thinking so far? What's your opinion on this?
So, great thoughts on that. I would say, like you said, for the playoff picture here, this is what the playoff looks like through week 15 for the 2024-2025 playoffs. Obviously, we all know Detroit, Kansas City, they're gonna run the table. Again, Kansas City might lose a couple games because we have an injury with Kansas City's quarterback to Patrick Mahomes. He's unsure about playing in week 16. And to be honest, I don't really think Kansas City needs the number one seed. They've proven it last year. They can go on the road to win. They
Yep.
basically have the same team. They got back Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown. So they got some big times. They got Isaiah Pacheco back from injury. So they'll have everybody back for the playoffs. And I think that's going to do them wonders. I think they just need to have Patrick Mahomes healthy. As long as he's healthy, they're going to be fine.
I mean,
Um,
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I think they have Carson Wentz
they
as
have
the
Carson
second
Wentz,
string.
so they could
So
win 3 games the
yeah,
next.
you have an experienced second string quarterback who's been who's been in the playoffs and has actually won a Super Bowl, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah,
I
but
think he was
he was
injured. He
he
was
was
injured.
injured. But dude,
Yeah,
he put them on a pedestal. They were like
yeah,
13. They were like 12-2
yeah.
when he got
Hmm.
hurt, 12-1. So I would say Minnesota, the Rams. I think Minnesota is a top tier talent. They just need to make sure Sam Darnold's head is on a swivel, and as long as
Hmm.
he's kicking on all cylinders like he has been all season, he'll be good. The Rams, they're a little bit of a tricky one. If this was the matchup, I would actually probably pick Minnesota. I just think they have a little bit of a better offense. The Rams defense, you saw it last week. They gave up 42 points to
Yeah.
Buffalo. Josh had an all-world game, but at the same time, you can't give up 42 points, and you actually won, which was astonishing. So I would actually say probably Minnesota with the upset here. In LA, I think Minnesota plays really well. Again, this is also a dome. So I think they'll be in their comfort zone. I would probably take Minnesota for that to versus Detroit. I think Minnesota versus Detroit is a good matchup. But again, Rams versus Detroit, you got Matthew Stafford. But I really don't want to see that matchup like we saw last year, even though it was a great matchup. I want to see Minnesota. I want to see how Sam Darnold does and if they can get that team. And it's going to be something. If Minnesota and Detroit play, that offensive game is going to be a lot. And the Lions,
It's gonna be a battle of the defenses,
oh
in
my,
my opinion.
but it's going to be up to the defense who can stop who. And
Who
the
can stop
Lions
who exactly?
defense
Hmm.
did not look good yesterday. They gave up 48 points to to Buffalo. I mean, not Buffalo. Um, um, who they play yesterday? Who they play? They gave up 42 points to 48 points to no, it was Buffalo. Yeah, I'm an idiot. It was
Yeah,
Buffalo.
they gave up it was 42-48 Buffalo.
Yeah, they gave up 48 points to Buffalo, which is absolutely ridiculous. Again, Josh Allen MVP, most likely if he keeps up what he's doing. But still, that defense, there's something wrong with that defense. They really need to hone that down, and I think Minnesota can exploit that with their deep threat in Justin Jefferson, Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. They got a bunch of dudes in that offense that can do some damage. Now, Green Bay, Tampa Bay, a little bit of a tricky one. I like Tampa Bay in this game, but Green Bay's a little bit of a sneaky man. They absolutely murdered Seattle last night. Tampa Bay's just been inconsistent. If they can just stay consistent with their play and Baker Mayfield doesn't turn the damn ball over, they're fine. He just tries to be Superman out there. And earlier in the season, he needed to because everybody was damn hurt. He's got Mike Evans back. He doesn't need to force everything. He's got a good enough offense, and their defense is not that half bad. They absolutely murdered the Chargers yesterday, 40-17. Justin Herbert has been playing amazing, averaging over 25 points a game for the last couple games. So the fact that they were able to shut that down, Green Bay is going to be tough. They got Josh Jacobs. They have a running game. I'm more of a pick 'em here. I really, I really would probably. It's a close one. I want to go with Tampa Bay. Because to be honest, I think Green Bay is the better team, but I think Tampa Bay has more upside. But again, if Tampa Bay versus Philly again, I don't think Philly's gonna lose because Philly got murdered last year against Tampa Bay. Remember that they got killed like 30,
No,
30
oh yeah, I remember
34 to
that.
9, and I called it too. I knew Philly was frauds last year, but they're not frauds this year, man. They're a good freaking team.
I
Um,
mean, ever since adding Barkley, I just think that they're offensively they're just a bigger threat. So definitely, if according to your prediction that Philly advances and Tampa Bay verse in the semifinal, it's going to be the battle of the defenses again
Yeah,
because they're
I would
yeah
probably go with Tampa, to beat Green Bay. They should beat Green Bay again. This is not a division rival, but it is an NFC rival. They've had some big time
yeah.
matchups with Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers in the past. So
Mhm.
this they remember each other. And it's going to be in Tampa, so I'll take Tampa. But then Washington, Philly, that's an interesting one. Washington, I think is just a 1 year early. I think next year they'll be down. They really started off really strong and they've hit a little bit of a slope. Then they gained it a little bit back. I just think they're not ready. I think Philly just walks the floor with them. I think it's a close game early, but second half they pull away. They just go hard nosed football, run it with Saquon, use the play action, and then Jalen Hurts just does what he does. So I think Eagles win by about I would say about either a touchdown or two. I think, like I said, close first half, second half they pull away. So I would have Vikings versus Lions second round, Tampa versus Eagles second round. Obviously, if this stays like that, again, we still got three more games, but this is my predictions. Baltimore, Houston. I'm taking Baltimore. CJ Stroud's been too inconsistent this year. He's not the same quarterback. The defenses know he's not gonna fool them. He's got to figure out next year what to do. I think Baltimore wins in a landslide. I think they absolutely demolish Houston. So I got Baltimore winning that to versus Kansas City for a rematch. Denver versus Pittsburgh. This is a bit of a tricky one. Bo Nix has been playing out of his mind, but I don't think Pittsburgh's losing. I think Pittsburgh's going to do it. I think they're going to advance to the second round. I think they're going to definitely. I think they're the one team that can give Buffalo, depending if TJ Watt is hurt or not, because he did come up with it's a low ankle a low not a low ankle sprain. It's an ankle sprain. I believe it's a low one, if I'm not mistaken. He really couldn't move yesterday, so hopefully he's good to go. But if he's able to, I think Pittsburgh plays a close one with Denver. Very close game, very low scoring game. But Russell Wilson turns the clock back to when he was with Seattle, and brings them down the field to win. And then Chargers. I think the Chargers are too early, man. I think Jim Harbaugh did what he had to do. But I don't think they're beating Buffalo in Buffalo, not even close. So I'll take, and they're a dome team. Nah, I'm going Buffalo against Pittsburgh. I want to go Pittsburgh with the upset, but the way they played against the Eagles yesterday, but I don't see it. But the only chance they have is if TJ Watt is healthy. If he's not healthy, they're screwed. So I'll probably take Buffalo in that win against Pittsburgh. But this is the matchup for the second round. I'm not going to go any further. I'll have Vikings, Detroit, Tampa Bay, Eagles, Ravens, Kansas City, Steelers, Buffalo.
Wow. I mean, these predictions are pretty good. I like it. I could probably agree with the majority of it. I mean, the for mine, I probably would pick. Again, like I said earlier, it's the battle of the defenses between Minnesota and the Rams. I just feel I don't know. I just feel like the Rams, for me, have probably better offensive weapons, especially if they're consistent. I mean, Matthew Stafford. Then you got um I think it's Cooper is Cup, right? You got Cup as a wide receiver. The running back Williams is also a pretty good running back as well. Then you also have Puka. So I mean, definitely going to be a battle of the offenses here. I mean, defenses here. I'm probably gonna pick the Rams to win only because they're playing home. Offensive weapons are just better, and I just don't think Minnesota's defense could really keep up with the Rams offense, especially with all the weapons that they have. So I have them versus Detroit, Green Bay, and Tampa. I just feel like it's more like the defense that's been inconsistent. I mean, Baker, he still leads the league in touchdowns made as a quarterback. And although yes, he was throwing a couple of picks here and there. I think that it was just a slump, to be honest. Not really too much to be concerned about. I think it's just the defense has been inconsistent.
But
So
I know that he is a gunslinger. I just wanted to tell you that.
yeah,
We
yeah,
know
yeah.
he's like
Hmm.
a Brett Favre. Not comparing him,
Right.
but the style of play is similar to Brett Favre. So that's where I would say like he just has to like calm down. You know what I mean? Like just don't
Yeah, I
push
mean,
the action so much.
when you
That's
look
all I
at
wanted to
Baker,
say. That's
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's just when you look at Baker Mayfield, he's a guy of trust. He is a guy that he trusts his teammates. So when he tosses it up there to, a second string wide receiver, it's because he
Mhm.
has trust in his teammate. Now, obviously, if it gets picked off, that's on him. He picks up his head and he moves on. Uh,
Yeah.
but in terms of inconsistency, I definitely think is our defense. Our defense has
Mm,
been good, especially it helped us win, a Super Bowl as well. So I just think if our defense is on their toes against Green Bay, they're going to stop the run game. Um, they're going to stop Jordan Love, passing the ball good and scoring them touchdowns. Washington and Philadelphia. Now, Philadelphia, we have seen the same scenario with Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay were underdogs against them last season and they lost. So, I mean, adding Saquon Barkley definitely improves their chances, especially against Washington, who are a young team who, underrated team who advance. I'm gonna pick Philadelphia, but don't sleep on the Commanders. I think they're gonna give us
no,
a run for their
no.
money, and I think they're gonna put up a good fight. So I got the Bucks and Philly in the second round, and then moving on to AFC. Now this one is where it's a little iffy. Baltimore and Houston. Now Baltimore's offense is great. Don't get me wrong, Lamar Jackson great, but you also have to consider their defense. Now their defense has been not good this season. Like
No.
they've been bad for the pieces that they have on defense. They have not been performing good.
They've lost a lot last year. They lost a
Hmm.
lot.
So I get it. CJ Stroud very inconsistent. He's not, but he's still a wonderful talent. And
No, without a
at
doubt,
the
I'm not
same
even
time,
taking it.
yeah. But I was just saying, like, at the same time, it's like you know, he has the weapon. He has his wide receiver in Collins. You know what I mean? Their run game is there. It's all right, but it against a team that gives up a lot of the run game as well. I'm just saying, like, don't sleep on Houston, and they're playing at home. Well, I don't know if that affects anything. Usually, the atmosphere gets the players, but I might take Houston here only because the defense has not shown me enough confidence. I mean, I'm not discrediting Lamar Jackson, but I just feel like you know Houston is just going to overwhelm the Baltimore defense that has been struggling this season. So I probably got Houston and Kansas City. Um, then for Denver and Pittsburgh, Denver has been playing excellent. They've been playing great. Bo Nix, like you said, has been balling. Even though he struggled in the beginning of the season, trying to find his number one receiver and stuff, and now him and Sutton together combined, they just been playing great. But I do got Pittsburgh. Their defense is amazing. Russell Wilson finally, is playing better the second half of the NFL season. Um, I mean, you have Pickens. You just have a lot of offensive weapons as well for the Steelers, but mainly their defense is going to be the target here. So I got Pittsburgh beating the Denver, and then I got I'm not going to go into it much. Chargers defense was good throughout the season. They were pretty consistent in terms of like their cornerbacks and their safeties and all that stuff. But I just feel like Josh Allen's right now having an MVP season. He's been doing
Yeah.
great. I believe, so I just think the Buffalo Bills are just gonna overwhelm the Chargers defense and they're gonna advance. So I got Baltimore and Kansas City and I got
No, you said
Steelers and the
Houston,
Bills. I mean, sorry. I got Houston and Kansas City and I got the Steelers and Buffalo Bills.
and you got Minnesota
Yeah,
Lions.
and I got Minnesota, Detroit. No, I got Rams. I got Rams in
The Rams
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay.
Yeah, I got Rams in Detroit and I got Bucks and Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. All right. So those are our picks. Um, for the upcoming playoff bracket for the NFL. Again, there's still 3 weeks left in the season. A lot could change. Someone could be the number 1 seed. There's a lot that could change. But for right now, those are our picks. We'll reconvene with this probably at the end of the season and see where everything is at. So let's go. Let's go to a quick segment of our crappy teams.
Yeah.
I think we'll just we got who are the teams that are eliminated?
So far, the teams that have been eliminated from playoff contention, you have the Jets, the Browns, Jaguars, Titans, Patriots, Raiders, Giants, Panthers, and Bears. Um,
We're not going all into all those.
yeah, we're not. I just think probably the main ones that stand out will probably be the Jets, only because they just brought so much just to lose and be out and only winning 4 games in the season. I think that one's probably one that could stand out.
Yeah.
Probably the Giants as well. The Giants.
Giants paid a man $100 and something million, and they cut him.
Yeah, we could definitely talk about how they're planning to move forward with this change. Panthers now they versus Dallas
I'll take
and
the
they were
Panthers.
favorites. Yeah,
Let's
I was
let's do the Panthers, Jets, Giants, and Bears.
okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe throw the Raiders in there, but quick. So we're just like quick. So, for me, I'm gonna take. I think the Giants. What they need to do, they need to draft a quarterback immediately.
Hmm.
I got either Cam Ward from Miami or Shador Sanders from Colorado. To personally, I think
Mm.
Shador and Malik Neighbors will be fantastic together. I think any quarterback is going to be better than what they have right now. Tommy DeVito, no offense, he can't. He's like a he can't do everything. He's not a quarterback. Sorry. It was great to see this, but not anymore. They need to now be serious. Drew Lock is not the answer. He sucks. Um, I think they need to take a quarterback definitely. I think they need to keep losing. They can get the number 1 pick, and I think they take Shador Sanders. I think that's what they got to do. Now for the Jets, I just think they just need consistency. They have none. You got Aaron Rodgers, who's just getting older and older, and he had some good games, and he had the most just yesterday, the most drop passes by any quarterback in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers had the most. I think it was 28
Hmm.
drop passes, which doesn't seem like a lot, but for a quarterback, that's a lot. That means that your receivers are not catching the ball. They're not looking the ball into their hands and then moving. They're trying to run without moving, or Aaron Rodgers not throwing good enough balls. Well, to be honest, he's older. I still think he can throw the ball better than anybody in the NFL. His placement of the football is immaculate. It's ridiculous over his years. He's just getting older. They need help. They bought all these guys over and they did absolutely nothing. Again, they did have a firing. I didn't believe they should have fired Robert Saleh. I think they should have fired the GM, which they did, Douglas. But after they fired Robert Saleh and then fired the offensive lineman, offensive coordinator, Aaron Rodgers' guy. They should have fired him and kept Robert Saleh. I don't think Robert Saleh was the problem. I think those 2 guys were the problem. They fired one, they kept the other guy. I don't understand that. So the Jets have a lot of just organizational problems. I don't think the team is the problem. I think organizationally, their team sucks because their organization is just garbage. And that's why they haven't won a playoff or been to the playoffs in over a decade. Now, for the Bears, I just think they just had a string of bad luck. I mean, they had 6 straight games of just 4 out of those 6 games they lost by like last second. They lost by a blocked field goal that they had the chance to win. They lost because their coach froze and couldn't call a timeout against the Lions on Thanksgiving. They lost to the what was it? They lost to they lost to the Packers. They lost to the Lions. I forgot the other ones, but they lost very close games down the stretch. And then there were games that were like, why'd you get blown out? Like San Francisco. Like, okay, but like, why? You got like absolutely murdered.
Yeah.
And in the previous weeks, they got killed by New England, 19-3. Like New England sucks. Like,
Yeah.
what
One of them
are we
terrible.
doing? Um, So I think the Bears just have to get consistency like the Jets, but Jets have an organizational problem. I think the Bears have a good team. They have a good enough team to win games. They just need to hone in on it and do some damage. Now um, for the Panthers, I think they finally figured out that Bryce Young is their quarterback. So stop with this narrative that Bryce Young can't play. I never thought that he couldn't play. I just didn't like the way he was playing. And I think benching him was perfect. I think benching him was great. It showed him like, hey, this is the NFL. Welcome to the NFL. This is how it is. You got to get your head out of your ass and let's just start playing. Let's ball. And dude, they played well against the Chiefs. They put up good numbers. They almost beat the Chiefs. The last like 5 weeks, they've been playing phenomenal. The Cowboys yesterday, yeah, we won 30-14, but it was a closer game than that looked. We had some turnovers that they had. You take away one or two of those turnovers, it's a different ball game. Just again, they putting up numbers. They're driving the ball. They're just
They
making
were
mistakes.
favorites to win.
Yeah, they were.
They were actually favorites to beat the Cowboys,
Minus
which
two and
was
a half. They
insane.
were favored by -2.5 to win, or -3, and they lost by 16. So next time, bettors don't bet on the Panthers because that don't work out. That don't work out well. Sorry. No. So I think the Panthers, they just need to just hone in and understand that their quarterback's Bryce Young. Stop making your quarterback's Bryce Young. Now surround him with the pieces that he needs. Because I think they got a good running back in Chuba Hubbard behind the backfield. They got a good wide receiver in Adam Thielen.
Sorry.
Good wide receiver in Adam Thielen. They just need to get one or two more pieces to really hone in on it. Their offensive line needs a lot of work. That's their big problem. Their offensive line. And then last but not least, I would say the Raiders, New England. I think they have their quarterback. They have nobody around him. Absolutely nobody. They got to really revamp that entire offense. But I think Drake May is your quarterback for the future. I just think that you need to put more pieces around him. And then moving to the Raiders definitely need to take a quarterback. They have no quarterback. Just like the Giants, they have none. So they definitely got to take a quarterback. It's either Shador or Cam. So whoever gets the number one pick is going to take either Shador or Cam, and most likely the Raiders or Giants will get the second or first. So vice versa if one's not the other. But that's pretty much it for me when it comes to the teams. I'll leave it to Irv for a quick 2-minute segment on the teams that he's thinking, and then we'll go to just quick segment before we go about the NBA Cup.
Yeah, so I just want to say real quick that you keep saying that these teams might have that need a quarterback. They're either going to pick Shador or Cam Ward. But what about a person that was next to Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel from Oregon?
He's not good, dude. He's only good because he's been there for so long, dude. He's like 35 years old. He's been there forever, man. It was like Bo Nix, dude. Dylan Gabriel's been in college for so goddamn long, dude. Like it's ridiculous on how long Gabriel has been in the league. I just think it doesn't age. Like he's 23 years old, dude. He's been in college for freaking almost going to be like 4 or 5 years now. If he comes back again, like the Penn State quarterback is coming back his senior year. Like, dude, like that just shows you, like, even though he had a great year, he still needs work. I think Dylan Gabriel, he'll go to a team, but he's not Shador Sanders. I think Shador is better than all of them. I think Shador is the best quarterback in the league. Cam Ward is only good because of his conference. I don't really like the guy. I think he's got great upside, but I really don't like him. I don't think he's a good quarterback. I think he's an okay quarterback. I should say, I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. I think Shador is a great quarterback and could become an all-time great quarterback because his name, one, you got his father. And dude, he wasn't in a perfect situation. He had to really Jackson State. That's not a perfect situation. That team sucked. That conference was horrible, and he really had to push the envelope. Colorado, he played nobody, And then they started to win. Then they started to rack up some big time plays. So
Yeah.
I think Shador Sanders have played amazing. I think he's good. And I'm not being biased because Dion played the Cowboys. That has nothing to do with it. I've actually watched Shador play. He's got great skills. He's got a great IQ, and he can throw the ball like it just flicks out of his wrist. It's so
Yeah.
easy.
Hmm.
But Dylan Gabriel's not bad. But I have a friend at school, at college. His name's Matt. He's an Oregon fan. He's like, Dylan Gabriel sucks. Like he's not
Really,
good.
just flat out.
He's
Right.
not
Yeah.
he's not that guy. Like if
Yeah.
you're looking for that guy, it's Shador.
Right.
If you're looking for that guy, it's Jaden Daniels. Look for that guy, it's Caleb Williams, which I still don't think he's that good, but you can still give him the nod. Drake May, he's your franchise quarterback. Bo Nix, like he's your franchise quarterback. But
Yeah.
23 years old, gonna be 24. I mean, Bo Nix was in college till like 26 because of COVID. So he
Yeah.
was old as shit. But look at what he's doing. Like Dylan Game was not old, but it's like, dude, like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, I just think that he's not that good. He's not the two guys that I said. So that's it.
Okay. I'm gonna just do probably like a little like speed one probably. So we can move on to our next segment. Bears, I just think maybe they just need to up their defense. Like you said, they've been losing in clutch situations. They've been and and I mean the offense has some issues as well, but I mean Caleb Williams just need a better offensive line. He has a star receiver with even though Keenan Allen is old, he's Keenan Allen is still Keenan Allen, he's a veteran player. So I just think maybe their defense is an offensive line definitely needs some improvement for this coming season. Jets, I mean, they have the pieces. They have the pieces in both offense and defense. I just think there was a lot of tension. There was just a lot of just drama between behind closed doors in the Jets organization. Like Zach said, firing Robert Sala, I don't think that was the move. They just did it for whatever reason that they thought, and then they fired the GM. And then I just think Rogers' decision making, he's definitely feeling that pressure. Maybe their offensive line could improve as well because their offensive line is not that good either. So I honestly think that, you know, the offensive line and just the support or the organization just needs to do a couple of changes here. Panthers, I feel like they're realizing now after benching Bryce Young that they're like Jack said, he is the quarterback for the Panthers. I mean, I mean, they've been doing good. Finally they were favorites for once against the Cowboys, who are probably equally as bad. But they still performed really bad. But you know what I mean. They went up against teams like the Eagles, who they only lost by like 6 points by like a touchdown. They lost to the Buccaneers by three. They lost to the Chiefs by three. And then what I mean. So their team is there. I think next season it's going to be a nice upside. And yeah, I just think this was like a reality check for them. For the New York Giants, like Zach said, they got rid of their quarterback that they paid $100 million to. They got rid of him, and now they need a quarterback. Not Bo Nix. I'm sorry. Um, Tommy DeVito. I mean, great, great, great. He has heart. When he got the opportunity, he did the best that he can. But you know what I mean. Now they just need a quarterback that can create chemistry with Malik Neighbors. I mean, having Malik Neighbors there, you know what I mean. It's just better. I think me personally that you know having Malik Neighbors there as a star wide receiver will definitely benefit the Giants moving forward as long as they pick up a good quarterback. Shador, I think he'll fit in well only because he has the Heisman winner Travis Hunter in Colorado. And yeah, I just think that that's the best option for them, in my opinion. So right now, while Zach's away, I'm gonna talk about the final for the NBA Cup. So right now we have The we have the Thunder beating the Rockets in the semifinals on the West side, and then we have the Bucks against the Hawks, who the Bucks beat, which was a really close game, by the way. Trae Young dropping 35, but at the end of the day, couldn't get the job done. Right now it's Thunder and the Bucks. So for me, I mean, the Bucks are really iffy. I mean, they struggled. I feel like a little bit with Orlando not having Franz or not having Bankero. And then they also struggled a little bit as well, trying to keep up the lead with the Hawks. And I feel like Giannis is gonna have a monster of a game. I mean, defensively, maybe J Dub only because of his wingspan, only because maybe his size he'll match up not well with Giannis, but he'll be probably close to defend him. And then you also have maybe Caruso or maybe Shea actually, because he's also a pretty decent defender. Shea on Damian Lillard as well. Um, I mean, I just think that the Bucks don't really have a matchup for the Thunder. I really think who's gonna guard Shea. I know Dame can't play defense, so he's not gonna guard him. Gary Trent Jr. I mean, I honestly don't know who in particular is gonna guard Shea Gilgis Alexander, and then on top of that, you have his playmaking ability to throw it to the corners, and this OKC Thunder team, don't sleep on them. They make open shots. They are a really good team in terms of 3-point shooting as well, because I feel like Shea he just gravitates um he just gravitates all of the attention towards him, and then boom, he just kicks it out to the corner. I forgot about Lou Dort, so I feel like Lou Dort defensively would be a good matchup for Damian Lillard, making sure he doesn't score. And he's also a pretty decent 3-point shooter. He's not consistent, but when I think in important games he actually makes his shots. Isaiah Hartenstein, I feel like he'll be a pretty good matchup in the paint for, let's say, Giannis comes to paint and he's the help side. I feel like he'll do great against Giannis. That's just that's what I think. As long as he doesn't foul out, because fouling, he's a very aggressive dude, so fouling is like I guess part of his strong suit. I guess you could say. Um, but yeah, I just think this OKC Thunder team they just have the offensive weapons to overwhelm the Bucks' defense. I really don't know who exactly will guard certain players. I mean, Dame and Giannis are going to have 30 apiece. They're going to have 30, 35 apiece, and for them to at least have, a close chance into beating OKC. And then I mean, you have players like Bobby Portis, you have Brook Lopez. There, you got the 3-point shooter AJ Green, who I guess could be served as their two-way player, but I feel like his defense isn't necessarily there, in my opinion. And I don't know. I mean, Brook Lopez is a really good shooting big man as well. But I just feel like because of his quickness is not there, I really think he's going to struggle, especially maybe on pick and rolls with Shea and Isaiah Hartenstein. Also dribble handoffs as well, because I know Hartenstein likes to do that with Shea Gilgis Alexander. And yeah, so like I said, Giannis and Dame are going to have 35 apiece for them to even have a chance. I just think OKC's defense will play a factor in this game, and their offense is just going to overwhelm the Bucks. That's my pick, OKC to win it.
All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do the quickest pick in NBA history. I am going to take the OKC Thunder. I'm going to agree with Irv on this one. I just think that guess what? Giannis, the Bucks defense is not what they used to be. They're not as good as they used to be. If this was 3 years ago, in the prime of everybody, and we had Chris Middleton healthy, ready to rumble, we had Drew Holiday still. This would have been a different story. But for right now, OKC is just too big. They're too strong. They're too shifty. They're too fast. They could shoot the damn ball. Other than Dame, really on the Bucks, there's really not that many shooters. They're gonna have to Irv said, I'm going to go off a limb here. I think Dame needs to have over 30, and I think Giannis needs to have over 40.
Yeah.
They need to combine for like 75 points in order for them to win this game. I just think that the OKC is that good. They're going to be again one of the top seeds in the West. They might even get the number 1 seed. They're that good. Again, they also don't have Chet Holmgren. He's out for 6 to 8 months. About 2 months, a month and a half ago, with a hip fracture, so he's out for that long. So he'll be back for playoff time most likely. So yeah, you got to watch out. The OKC's for real. But yeah, that's my pick for the NBA Cup. Again, guys, this has been a great show, great 3 segments. I appreciate Irv coming on this early to do the show. Again, guys, I'm your host, Zach Jackson. This is my co-host, Irv. This is Recap Monday on Season 6, Episode number 7. We will definitely have somebody on. Danny Wexler will be on Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and we should be having David Kaplan on Friday. So stay tuned to that, guys. I will see you guys on Wednesday for Season 6, Episode number 8 here on the Fire Sports Pod. Peace out, guys. Have a great rest of your Monday.